can't die. Get up. Can you please not do that again?
Netflix has finally dropped the official trailer for The Old Guard 2, and it's clear they're going big this time around. The sequel, directed by Victoria Mahoney and based on the graphic novel by Greg Rucka and Leandro Fernandez, brings back Charlize Theron as Andy, the tough-as-nails immortal warrior. But it's not just about the return of familiar faces. This time, we're also getting a couple of exciting new additions. Oscar-nominated Uma Thurman is joining the cast, and so is Henry Golding, both playing key roles in what looks like a much larger and more intense continuation of the story. The trailer doesn't waste time setting the stage. It gives us a look at Andy as she's still adjusting to her newfound mortality, something that's clearly weighing on her. At the same time, we're introduced to Thurman's character, a dangerous immortal with some seriously threatening powers. She's not just another villain either. She has the ability to dig into people's memories and pasts, which adds a personal twist to everything. Plus, Hyun, played by Victoria Ngo, has managed to break free from her underwater prison, so there's clearly more than one ticking time bomb here. And what's really got people buzzing? A teased sword fight between Andy and Thurman's character. It looks like it's going to be a highlight, especially because Thurman is stepping back into action-heavy territory after a long break. The sword fight, in fact, feels like a direct nod to her iconic Kill Bill days. Fans of those films are probably going to get a hit of nostalgia, especially since the trailer closes with a silhouette shot that really channels that old-school martial arts movie energy. So what's the deal with the sequel? Well, the core team from the first movie is back. KiKi Layne returns as Nile. Marwan Kenzari and Luca Marinelli reprise their roles as Joe and Nikki, and Shwetal Ejiofor is back as James Copley. Together, they're preparing to face a new threat, one that's far more dangerous than anything they've dealt with before. To help with that, they reach out to an old ally named Tua, played by Henry Golding, who might have some insight into the mystery behind their immortality. Now, Booker, who caused quite a bit of drama in the first film with his betrayal, is still off on his own, living in exile. But considering the scale of the threat they're dealing with now, it wouldn't be a shock if he makes a return, possibly with something to prove. What stands out the most in the trailer is the tone. It's not just about big action scenes or immortal powers. There's an emotional undercurrent running through it all. The battles are deeply personal, especially because of the new villain's memory-manipulating powers. We don't fully know what her end goal is yet, but it's obvious that this isn't just a generic bad guy wants to take over the world situation. There's history, pain, and personal vendettas at play, and that adds depth to the conflict. Charlize Theron herself hinted at this in a chat with Netflix, saying the sequel has something for everyone. And judging by what we've seen so far, intense fights, emotional stakes, mysterious new lore, it's hard to argue with that. Thurman's character Discord isn't just any villain. She's got that menacing elegance and a sword to match. Fans of Kill Bill will immediately see the parallels. In those films, she played the bride, a woman on a ruthless revenge mission with a samurai sword always close at hand. Seeing her back in action, sword in hand again, really scratches that old itch. The trailer might not show her in full combat mode, but it definitely teases a climactic showdown between her and Theron, and that alone is enough to get fans hyped. And let's not ignore the subtle throwback vibes. That final silhouetted shot in the trailer? Totally Kill Bill callback. It's like Netflix knew exactly how to press the nostalgia button without being too on the nose. Even though nearly 5 years have passed since The Old Guard debuted, it looks like this sequel might make the wait worthwhile. In fact, this whole trailer has stirred up fresh excitement about the idea of Kill Bill Volume 3, a movie that's been rumored for decades but has never materialized. Thurman's performance in The Old Guard 2 is already being seen by some as a kind of spiritual continuation of her action hero legacy. While Discord is clearly on the opposite side of morality compared to the bride, there's a familiar intensity in her eyes and movements. Originally, Tarantino talked about making a third Kill Bill focused on Nikki, the daughter of Vernita Green, coming after Beatrix, the bride, to avenge her mother. But here we are, over 20 years later, and that movie still hasn't happened. In fact, Thurman has barely done any action movies since Kill Bill Volume 2, which makes this Netflix return all the more significant. It's kind of ironic. While The Old Guard 2 is clearly its own thing, it's also letting Thurman flex those same muscles, literally and metaphorically, that made her an icon back in the early 2000s. And if anything, this just proves that she still has what it takes. She hasn't missed a step. As for whether Kill Bill 3 could still happen, honestly, it's looking less and less likely. Quentin Tarantino has made it pretty clear that he's moved on. Back in 2021, he mentioned that working on the first 2 Kill Bill movies was exhausting and that he didn't want to go through that process again. Since then, he's been focused on developing other projects, like the now cancelled The Movie Critic. He's also been vocal about planning to make just one more movie before retiring from directing, and it's unlikely that film will be a sequel to anything he's done before. He's even written a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel script, but not for himself to direct. That's going to David Fincher. So yeah, if he's that selective, it's fair to assume a third Kill Bill just isn't in the cards. But that doesn't mean fans are completely out of luck. Thurman's role in The Old Guard 2 gives us a taste of what a modern-day version of the bride might look like. And it's honestly kind of awesome. She's wielding a katana again, going head-to-head with another action heavyweight like Theron, and it's just a blast to see. The first Old Guard film earned solid reviews too, scoring 80% from critics and 72% from audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. It wasn't perfect and definitely hit a few familiar action movie tropes, but overall it stood out because it told a more thoughtful story and delivered some genuinely impressive fight scenes. Among Charlize Theron's career hits, The Old Guard sits high on the list, just behind massive titles like Mad Max Fury Road and Monster. That said, The Old Guard 2 didn't exactly have a smooth path to release. Originally, it was supposed to come out in fall 2024, but that didn't happen. The movie wrapped filming back in September 2022 and then entered a lengthy post-production phase, mainly due to the heavy use of visual effects. Theron had even said at one point in mid-2024 that the film was coming soon, which got fans expecting a late 2024 release. But when Netflix dropped its lineup for fall 2024, The Old Guard 2 wasn't anywhere on it. So here's hoping Netflix sticks the landing and gives us something memorable when the movie finally drops, whenever that may be. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.